Did you know that 3.2 billion people play games worldwide? That's 40% of the global population. With such a massive market, you would think that market your game would be very easy, but the harsh truth that it's not. Developers struggle to get noticed, even when their games are very good. Why is it so hard? I'm Dmitry Afanasyev. Let's break it down. In 2024, the gaming industry made stunning $184.3 billion. But with this growth comes intense competition. Big companies like Netflix, Amazon, and Google are entering the market, pouring huge budgets into developing and promoting their games. At the same time, tools like game engines and the ready-made asset packs make it easier for game developers to create games than ever. Steam alone saw 19,000 new games released last year, which is about 52 games per day. Add in mobile platforms, consoles, and itch.io, and players are flooded with choices. So there is no wonder many games just go unnoticed. And remember, you are not just competing against other games. You are also competing for the most limited resource in our world: time. Research shows people spend about 3.5 hours a day on screen time for entertainment, and that includes everything: Netflix, YouTube, TikTok, and social media. Players aren't just choosing between games, they're deciding whether to spend their free time gaming or doing something else entirely. So, if your game doesn't grab attention quickly, the players will instantly move on to the next thing. And this is why marketing isn't just about showcasing your game's features. It's about making players care about playing your game and spend their limited time. And before we move on, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It will help me to produce more content like this and provide more tips on video game marketing to you. Now, let's move on to the next part. There is misguided belief of some developers that if their game is very good, the word of mouth will sell it by itself. But in today's saturated market, even very good games rarely sell themselves. Sure, players might recommend a game to friends, but only after they have played it, and how do they find it in the first place? Without marketing, even the best games can get lost in the noise. Let's take free-to-play multiplayer games as an example. These games like Fortnite, Roblox, and League of Legends dominate player engagement. In 2024, the share of gaming time spent in these games increased even further. For new free-to-play games, the challenge is huge. You are up against giants that have consolidated the market, and attracting players to a new game requires a significant investment in user acquisition, but conversion rates are often low. Only a handful of free-to-play games launched in 2023 managed to surpass even 0.1% of total gaming time. So, competing in this space means understanding not just your niche, but also the expectations set by these established games on the gaming market. That's why it's very important to do market research, even if you create a simple indie game. And here's a common mistake, thinking that your game appeals to everyone or to a very wide audience, for example, for anime lovers. In fact, it doesn't. Every game has a niche, whether it's a puzzle game like Candy Crush or a hardcore strategy like Dota. So you need to know your audience inside out, and do not make it too wide or too narrow, because you still need to have a lot of players to know about your game. And here is another insight. According to research, many players compare the new games with the previous ones they loved. They choose new games based on how well they match their past experiences. So if you don't make this connection clear enough, many players may just skip your game. Let's take an example of Elden Ring. It was marketed as Dark Souls, but with an open world, and it was very appealing to many fans of this genre. Another problem that I noticed is that many game developers see marketing as like some sort of dirty thing, like selling out. While other game developers think that marketing is something like tricking people to buy something they don't really need. But that's not true. Marketing is about education, but not about manipulation. It's about helping players understand why your game is worth spending their free time and how it is relevant for them. So, if you are passionate about your game, I think that marketing will just be the extension of your passion. And the thing I would like to mention is that there is no single strategy for marketing games. What works for one title might flop for another, even in the same genre. For example, a highly polished AAA game might succeed with flashy trailers and celebrity endorsements, but an indie narrative-driven game needs a more personal touch, like sharing behind-the-scenes development stories or engaging directly with niche communities. Players also look for differentiators, not just claims of being better than a certain competitor. For example, instead of saying, "This game is better than Fortnite," focus on what makes your game unique, like a cooperative mode or a deeper narrative. So highlight differences that make your game stand out. For example, Hollow Knight is often compared to Metroid and Castlevania games, as it falls into the Metroidvania genre. Players familiar with these classics will recognize elements like exploring interconnected worlds, gaining new abilities to unlock areas, and battling different enemies. And what are some unique differentiators? One of them is challenging combat, because Hollow Knight incorporates Souls-like elements such as difficult bosses and strategic resource management, which gives a fresh edge over traditional Metroidvania games. And another feature that differentiates this game is its hand-drawn art style. Its unique visual design that features a hand-drawn, dark but charming world creates a distinctive aesthetic which can't be seen in traditional Metroidvania games. One of the most common questions of game developers is why they should start marketing their video game. When somebody asks me this question, I usually answer the following. Start marketing your video game as soon as possible, but only when you have something to show. Every time, begin with research. Research who is your audience, what type of games they play, and most importantly, what's missing in those games and what your game brings new to them. And when you have a solid foundation, you can start creating videos, GIFs, screenshots that clearly communicate your game's core features and value. Build a backlog of promotional materials so you're not scrambling to create content during crunch time. For most games, marketing should begin 6 to 12 months before release, but it depends on the scope of the game. A small indie project might start promoting a few months before launch, while a major studio might tease a game years in advance. Whatever your timeline, the main thing is consistency. Share your updates regularly to keep your audience engaged and excited over time. Otherwise, they will just lose interest and attention to your game. I will not deny that marketing your game is extremely hard, there is no sugarcoating it. But it's extremely essential. A great game deserves to be played, and marketing is one of the tools that will help you succeed in it. But remember, even the best marketing in the world won't help you to promote your game if your game is not polished enough, if it has a lot of bugs, and if it does not stand out among other games. So take your time to research your audience, to understand how your game can stand out among others, and how to promote it. And before you go, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe on my channel, as it will greatly help me to grow and give you more tips about video games marketing. Thanks for watching. I'm Dmitry Afanasyev. See you soon.